The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the raw and uncensored Ambitchious podcast. I'm your host, the original HBIC, Katie Boyd. During our time here together, I will be instilling all of the strength, power, and determination you will need to use the very stones thrown at you to build your ultimate empire. We will redefine the word bitch from the derogatory to the acronym being in total control of herself. So let's adjust our crowns and prepare to live life ambitiously. Oh yeah, here I am, the original HBIC, Katie motherfucking Boyd. And over here is Big Tits McGee.
Yes.
Matthew Martin Babine.
Smaller tits McGee because of my weight loss.
So Matt lost 20 pounds doing 1 month of the Ambitchious 28-day protocol. By the way, he fucked up a couple times. He had a couple drinks. He had a couple chicken parms. Yes. And the bastard still lost 20 pounds.
Well, I'm dedicated.
To what? Cheating on your Ambitchious 28-day protocol?
I'm giving people, the chance to, if they make a mistake, they get right back on it because nobody's perfect. And if I can make a mistake, I give all of you the permission to make a mistake every now and then.
You're just weak.
Sometimes.
You're just weak as fuck.
Chicken parm is awesome. Everyone knows my passion.
I know, but I can make it keto if you want it that bad, for Christ almighty.
And it's delicious, but when you're not eating it, I'm not going to say, hey, can you make me some keto chicken parm?
That's true.
Right?
Thank you. I appreciate that, baloney pony. I really do.
So anyways, thank you very much for helping me.
So if you're watching at home on YouTube or on Facebook Live and Matt's breasts are looking smaller, it's all because of the Ambitchious 28-day protocol. Yes. I'm just telling you all that.
My breasts,
don't get too moist out there in Ambitchious land.
God.
So today's Ambitchious podcast is all about it's my party and I'll fart if I want to. Fart if I want to. I am going to be 39 years old today.
The last of the 30s. That is so exciting.
Jesus Christ. I'm scared that my pubic hair is going to start just turning stark white like yours on your chest. I really don't want a muff full of polar ice.
I don't think you'll have that problem. You have a few more years to go. I have a couple of years on you. I celebrated my last 30th birthday 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. That's enough out of you, really, seriously. So today is my birthday podcast, and last year we had a birthday podcast too.
Yes.
And I always share what I've learned in my 38 to 39 years of my life. Mm-hmm. But this year I want to share what I learned in the last year since my last Ambitchious birthday podcast.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. The last year has been it was just been going through the roof. You've been doing so much great work.
I know, because I actually am not weak and I work hard. Yes. Unlike some people I know.
So we're continue.
Yeah, whatever. I'll continue. This is my damn podcast. I'll do whatever I want to do. Oh my God. But before we start, I always love to give our Ambitchious sponsor, Ayana, owner of Prana, hairskinandlash.com, the shout out she deserves for helping this hoe over here with her eyebrows and her lashes. And if you reach out to her, she is actually offering for the next couple weeks, $50 off your first lash extensione. So reach out to her, tell her this bitch sent you, and you will be glad you did because you're going to be looking like a dime piece.
She's awesome.
Yeah, yes, we love Ayana.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk all about what I learned. Mm-hmm. And you're just going to sit here and just give your 2 cents like you always do because you just keep showing up week after week and you never go away. And it's been like 2 years almost.
And yes, and it went by fast.
Can you believe we're coming up on our 100th anniversary?
Unbelievable.
That's wild, right?
Absolutely.
We're going to have a ripper.
It will be.
We're going to have a kegga in the woods for the Ambitchious.
Wait a minute. 100th anniversry of your marriage?
No.
No, I'm 100 years old. I'm just a tortoise.
Matt reminds me of the turtle from Neverending Story.
So it's the 100th episode.
100th anniversary of the Ambitchious podcast episode.
Yes.
Wow.
Is that what we call it?
Yeah.
What do we usually call it? The 100th episode?
100th episode.
Yeah.
Show.
Sure.
But we have to have a ripper.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
Huge
ripper. We got to have a wicked big ripper.
Not by the harbor, though.
No. But we're going to have plenty of beer.
Yeah.
Plenty of beer. The Massachusetts beer.
Yeah. That's exciting, though, isn't it?
100 episodes is huge because most people, they don't hang in there that long.
Well, I think that people start podcasts and they're like, I'm just going to do this for a little while and see if it works. And so I was like, that's not how it goes, people.
No.
You got to be dedicated.
Dedicated and definite.
Jinx, Coke Infinity.
Jinx. All right.
All right.
All right.
So I'm going to just talk and Matt will just give his 2 cents. How's that sound out there in Ambitchious land? Here we go. I'm going to share with you today the 5 things that I learned in the last year since my last birthday. You ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Here's number 1. I realized, and I always knew this, but I really truly stepped up into the notion and the realization that I create my reality, right?
Yeah.
So everything I think,
Yes.
everything I say, and everything I do creates my reality, both good and bad.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. And where you are today created all those years of creation. That's why you're here.
But it's funny because in the last year, because my career has like gone through the roof and my income has gone through the roof, and I'm really just making sure that all the people around me are a high vibe and on my level, and I'm hanging out with my peer groups and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And I started to realize that it took me so long to get to where I'm at because the way I was raised and the people that I were around growing up, and their just like old way of thinking and their old way of speaking and their antiquated ways of doing things.
Yep.
Because I was a sponge growing up, right? And we all are.
Yep.
So we are like, when I don't feel good, I tell everyone that I'm sick. Oh, I don't feel well. I'm sick. Or, if I'm not having
I'm this or
whatever,
I'm that. Yeah.
all of that shit, right? And then now it's like, I don't say those things anymore. And when I do say it, because it slips out every so often, especially when I get weak or tired or frustrated or like overwhelmed, I started to realize recently that, oh my God, I was creating my reality for so long in a bad way.
Yeah.
Even though I was always super successful, but I was almost super successful because I was just like bashing my head into the wall all the time, or like throwing shit to the wall and seeing what stuck.
And you were doing it the harder way, right? Would you agree that it was much more work?
Please, sir.
Much more physical effort than
Yes.
actually thinking and planning and
Yes.
actually manifesting with like great ideas and thought.
Yeah.
Right?
No, definitely.
Yeah, big time.
So for all of you out there that do not believe that what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're doing does not create your reality, you should probably just shut the fucking podcast off now and go play with yourself like you normally do. Make sure that your fingers are stained with Cheeto powder, because I know that's what they are stained with, if you don't agree with me. But
Katie?
Yes.
Hate to interrupt, but
Is it about Cheetos?
yeah, Cheeto powder has an actual name.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it's called Cheetle.
No.
Get the heck out of here.
Yeah, I just did Snack Authority this morning, and so this is called Cheetle.
So
the powder that ends up on your
I
fingers.
love a good Cheetle.
So go touch yourself with your Cheetle fingers.
Exactly.
Or is it Cheetle covered fingers?
Cheetle covered fingers.
Yes,
The
exactly.
dust itself is Cheetle.
Oh my God, how does this even happen?
That's crazy.
What the?
That's a
Okay,
name.
I learned something new every day.
No, but you mentioned how you would hang around with the people or whatever, and you were creating that reality, right?
Oh my
So now
gosh.
once you got rid of certain people out of your life, the
Yes.
crazies or whatever, that were bringing you down or not speaking victory into you, I think that's this year especially has been why you've been able to skyrocket.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Well, I look back in my life and I think of all the people that were in my life that were supposed best friends or whatever, or people that were like in my inner sanctum. But now I look back and go, oh my God, what lessons they were. I had to do that to learn these lessons, to say, these people don't belong around me. And if I truly desire to go to the next level, you got to kind of, plus I'm an Aquarius too, as you guys know, because today is my birthday. And I just cut a bitch out.
Absolutely.
And I have no qualms about it either. Like the thing about being an Aquarius too is like, we will cut you out and you will never know that we're upset about it, and it will hurt us, but we'll never show you. And I can actually
That's good and bad.
Dude, I'm so cutthroat that I can like walk by somebody that I cut out and literally just look right fucking through them. And not even like,
I know.
Matt is getting scared. Did you just see Matt? He was I have no qualms about that.
No, I know you don't.
But then like I'll get in my car and I'll be like shaking after.
That's why I create my reality, and I'm on board.
Okay. He knows better.
I create my reality, honestly, because I'm sitting here next to this beautiful birthday girl. So I'm very, very happy.
Yeah, don't be.
But isn't it funny though?
Don't be thinking you're going to see me in my birthday suit
when we go. I'm hoping that would be really nice.
Why does
but
it always have to go
no,
there?
it was funny. It was we were having dinner with this couple, and they're in Boston, and they're very successful, probably the nicest people ever. and he's like a hair guru, and
Yes.
his wife is, very, very successful in what she does, but just the nicest people. And it was funny because when we were having dinner with them, and he goes, I grew up in East Boston, and there were things that I had to do. I knew if I wanted to be the best that I can be. And it's just a sweet guy. He goes, I had to leave, some of the people in East Boston, and I love them, but I just knew I couldn't fulfill my destiny or my goals by being with them.
100%.
And he goes, I had to cut the ties. I went to California and New York and started really, becoming the person that he is.
Right.
And it was it's just like almost like, hey, this is how the formula works.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to step back and make some changes.
100%.
And you've made some really hard changes. And sometimes, when you hear that, though, it gives you validation that, you are on the right path.
Right. Because it's not easy.
No.
I'm not sitting here saying like,
very difficult.
It's easy to, create your own reality. It is probably the most difficult thing. But as I always tell my people that I coach from all over the world, like if you don't have a definite purpose, you're going to have a scrap life.
Right.
So the universe is just going to be like, well, they don't know any better, so I'm just going to send them the scraps.
So they're giving what you are looking for. Well, I just want to be able to do this little bit thing.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what you get.
Exactly.
But no, good job.
It's a good way to parlay into number 2. I teach people how to treat me. So everyone walks around and we all say like, well, she made me feel that way. And this person did that to me. And this person did this to me. Like I was telling you today about something, a legal thing that we're going through right now with like different trademarks and stuff.
Yep.
And you're like, I'm going to get on the phone with you with that lawyer. I'm going to say such and such and such to him. And I actually looked at Matt and I go, actually, no, I allowed this to happen to me because I obviously didn't read the contract perfectly.
Yeah, well, I think you allowed the lawyer to be able to give you the information of the law.
Yes.
But we'll fix it.
It's not even about being fixed. It's about adding extra things.
It's a mid-course correction.
More money. That's what it fucking means. More money for trademarks.
Maybe he did it on purpose.
Yeah, he's like, ooh, get this bitch to give me some money, and then I'll like drag her out for the next year. But yeah, it's my fault because I read the stuff and I was like, oh yeah, looks good because I'm doing so many things at once.
Right.
But I'm like, no. If I'm telling everyone that they have to be definite with their purpose, then I have to read everything with a fine-tooth comb, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I actually take full responsibility for anything that happens in my life. And I really, truly believe when you do that, you become so unstoppable and so powerful because I grew up in like an energy of perennial victim mentality. Like it was always everybody else's fault. Everybody else was the problem.
This person screwed me.
Right.
This person had all the breaks. This person had this.
Yes.
All these things.
And that was my languaging and that was my, brain grooves growing up. And then as I got older, I'm like, no, wait a minute. If I can shift this and say, if this is happening to me, this is all my fault because I'm allowing this, because I'm allowing this person to treat me this way, or I'm just I'm rushing through something just to get things done. Like Matt always says, you always like things tied up in this like perfect bow because that's what makes me feel safe as a soul, like on a soul level.
Right.
But sometimes it's like, what am I rushing this for?
Right.
Everything is going to happen in its due time.
And if it's not meant to be tied in a bow, leave it the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Right? Leave it alone. Move on to the next thing that you can.
Because you can put it in a bun.
Put it in a bun instead.
But it's so true, though.
I can't stand that song. Now it's going to be with me all day long.
I love that song.
Put it in a bun.
Put it in a bun.
Yes.
But seriously, we really, truly do teach people how to treat us. So anyone that steps to you in a wrong energy, instead of being like, wow, that person's a dick, you're going to be like, okay, what kind of energy am I giving off as a person that this person feels like they can talk to me this way or treat me this way? It's always us.
Or sometimes when you make a change, sometimes, God, universe, or whatever will put situations in a way. Okay, you say this, now really act it.
Prove it to me, bitch.
Prove it. Show me again. You did it 2 times. 3 is the charm. 4 is the charm.
Yes.
So these things will come up to you, and you have to be able to, almost like you always say, whack-a-mole, right? It's
you were literally just reading my mind.
There's another one. Boom.
Well, I talk about it in the book, every time that you're leveling up and you're trying to become more ambitious.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I see you. You're trying to become more ambitious. And it is. It's the whack-a-mole. Once you think you get one thing hit in the head, 3 more pop up. But you have to be super strong in your conviction.
Absolutely. Like we are refinancing our house because the rates are so low. And I said,
let's add that onto the fucking
let's get this thing done.
Life.
And I said, I'll take care of it. You focus on what you're doing. So I'm getting all this paperwork together. And the closing is going to be on like in the middle of Mercury retrograde.
Yes.
Which is like, if anyone knows and listens to our podcast, it's like that's the time you don't sign any big contracts, something as big as your home. Definitely. I mean, if I was going to buy a little
you can
trinket,
sign it, but what's going to happen? It's going to cost you actually more money. You're going to have to go back and fix it.
So the lady goes, the closing's right in smack dab in the middle of it. And I go, yeah.
Hold on. You're not telling the story correctly.
I'm telling the story. And
sorry guys, I'll have to retell it after he's done.
And
Just hold tight.
I said to Katie, I says, Katie, guess when this closing is? And then I'll let you take it over.
Okay.
Because I knew what was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen.
Okay. So Matt comes downstairs when I'm doing work and he's like, hey, they're going to close on the loan in such and such a date. I go, you can't do that. That's Mercury retrograde. And I saw all the little tiny wheels that are in Matt's head just like turning.
No, I was weighing the pros. I was weighing the pros and the cons. And I'm like this going,
which there's never any pros signing contract during Mercury retrograde.
It's going to, I don't know if it's going to jeopardize the loan. Is it going to do this? And then all of a sudden I go, you know something? No. She goes, no, I'm going to email her now. Katie takes the thing, emails her, says, nope, this is not when I sign contracts.
So I said to the lady, I was like, hi, Donna. I don't sign contracts during Mercury in retrograde. Yes, ... I'm that girl, period. And guess what? Yeah. What are they doing?
Well,
it perfectly works out.
She goes, you're going to have to pay more money. Your rate's not going to be locked in at that time because it's going to be expired. And I said, whatever it is, do it. We're not signing it.
But Matt came to the kitchen. He was like, she said that we're going to have to spend more money. And then this might happen, that might happen. I looked at him and I go, be still and know that I am goddess and this does not happen to me.
I didn't remember that, but
I said it in my mind.
But I was like, so long and the shorter it is, got
Don't make me get all Ariana Grande, God as a woman on your ass right now.
So I go to the lady because I do all of this work. And I says, listen, I don't care what
Matt
it is.
does all this work because I'm too busy being the fucking moneymaker and keeping his ass litty as a titty. Okay.
Well, of course. Of course. But all of a sudden, what happened?
What happened?
Yeah. She calls me today or yesterday. She goes, by the way, you're not going to have to pay any fees. It's only 2 days. The bank is going to do whatever you want to do. Bingo.
Bibbidi bobbidi booyah.
And what did I say to you? I said, we held our ground. We held our ground.
All right, I'm going to move on to number 3. Because everyone at home knows you're a liar.
No, I don't lie.
You're so ambitious.
I am ambitious.
By the way, when he was telling that story, I got a leg kick.
Because I don't know any of the things you were telling me. I was on board 100%.
It's called pomp and circumstance, Matt. Right. Follow the bouncing ball.
Continue.
Okay? Number 3, fasting is the key. Let me say that for the people in the back. Fasting is the key to optimal health. Right?
I agree.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm down 20 pounds.
Jill's clapping in the audience because she had a. Go ahead. You are down 20
pounds because of my following the protocol.
You could have been down more, but I'm not gonna say anything about that. I'm not gonna say anything about that. Jonathan has been on the program for 16 days and he's lost 23.6 pounds.
Yes.
16 days.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I train him.
Now Matt's going to take your weight loss, Jonathan, for his
Jonathan,
self.
you are my kickboxing student, and I see him sweating big time.
Food is 80%, sir.
So
Food is 80%.
I took the 20%. The 20% is mine.
So fasting is the key to optimal health, and Jill is in the audience clapping because Jill has been working with me for year and a half on this. And she would always do so well. She'd hit this beautiful place and all of a sudden she'd go and go backwards. Right? So then she just has been doing the second protocol because now, we're into the next protocol of Ambitchious 28-day protocol. Yep. And she goes live on our protocol page the other day. She goes, I have hit. It was very Oprah-like. She was like, I have hit some epiphany. And I was like, I'm so glad this finally happened, right?
Jill's got it. All right, Jill.
When you fast, it literally changes everything on a cellular level. But more importantly, it makes you such a clear, I know this is going to sound super esoteric, but just follow me. And you know this.
Yes.
It makes you such a clear vessel. Such a clear vessel for divine. So when you're not bogging your body down with a bunch of stuff that you're putting in it, it just creates this it's quicker to talk to your divine self.
Absolutely.
And you get better ideas. And I also believe, and I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I think that there's definitely a correlation with your health and money.
Yeah,
right? So
absolutely.
the healthier you get, the more you're fasting, the more you become this clear channel. like all of a sudden your money like goes through the roof.
Yeah.
You become more wealthy, more abundant.
Yes.
And you're not eating, so you're not spending a bunch of money on food. But that's
spending money, and you are so much clearer. You make better decisions.
Yes.
You work more in your business.
Except when you get crazy.
I get crazy. I was teaching a class the other night, and I was fast. I think it was in my 48th hour. And Katie was downstairs, and I was teaching a kickboxing class. And I'm like, okay, we're going to do this one. We're going to do that one. Katie goes, babe.
Come here.
You need food.
I go,
you're going to eat tonight.
I go,
Just take it easy.
Slow down.
Hold tight.
You need to slow down. Because you get so fast.
Yeah.
Because the way that you experience reality,
Yes.
it like cycles faster. And when you're fasted, you actually upcycle your vibrational frequency.
Well, and my brain's probably like, where's the booze? Where's the chicken?
Look at Mr. Ed Sullivan looking at you. It's
going,
just too much.
We're not
Mr.
used to all this clarity.
It's a look of disappointment.
Isn't it?
I mean, if Matt could stay on the program, we'd be talking 23 to 25 pounds,
Thank
not
you.
this 20.
Oh, I love when he calls you to
my
the carpet.
God.
I love when he calls you
All
to
right.
the carpet.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Don't worry.
Well, you know something? I'm giving everybody permission to make a mistake every now and then. But
Matt,
it's not that we don't make mistakes with either lawyers or diets or food or whatever. It's back to, I know what I did, recognition, know what it is, making the change.
Matt, I'm not
I'm sticking to my case.
I'm not judging you. I'm coaching you, but you're weak. You're very weak.
Very weak. I had a big Sith Lloyd on his ass the other day.
I know this, but I'm working on it.
All right.
Matt is trying
my
his
brain
best.
is trying to fire better.
Be your best you.
Be your
Yes,
best you,
yes,
Matt.
I
You're
am.
supposed to be the leader of the Ambitchious people.
Guys, I'm sorry if I let you down. I'm on those 3 pounds.
Speaking of number 4, what I've learned in my brief stint around this earth. Don't choke, Matt. Consistency is key with everything. With everything, right?
Yes.
Like so. I told this story a couple times, maybe on the podcast, maybe on my lives on Facebook or whatever to my clients. But I went to Portugal last year.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in Portugal, I had time to think. And I was like, wow, you have 16 different ways that you're creating wealth and abundance. So you have 16 different ways that money is coming into your everyday life, right? And I was like, this is just too freaking damn much. I'm being a donkey. I'm telling everyone not to be a donkey. I'm telling everyone not to be like running around like a chicken with your head cut off. And then what happens is there's no consistency because you're just going boom to the boom to the boom to the next to the next to the next.
Right.
So when I came home, I said to myself, I affirmed to myself, Katie, you are going to be consistent. You're going to take all these 16, 15 different ways you're making money, bringing money into your life, and you're going to put them down to 5. And those 5 things are the only things that you're going to focus on for the next year of your life.
And it wasn't enjoyable, right? Because you were just going every which direction.
And
it was
so stressful.
They wanted you to go here and speak here and go here. And it's like, this isn't going to work for me. This is not what I want to do. I want to make my life easier and not harder.
Yeah.
And you really did clear a lot of stuff out.
And when I came home and I said to myself, okay, this is what I'm doing. And it was scary at first because you're now like knocking out 10 money-making ways that you're like, especially when you're someone like me who didn't have a ton growing up.
Right.
Right? This is like amazing that I'm making all this
but
money.
What happened is when you made the shift and you picked the 5 things, those 5 things exploded way more than the 16 would have ever, because those things would have just been pulling at you and not really be able to do the work that you want to do.
Absolutely.
And you're about making change, not making money. You're about making people's lives change.
Yes.
And then when you hone down on those 5 things, all of a sudden you're changing more lives. You're going to make more money because people are going to be like, oh my God, I'm doing this. This is working out. And it just happens. It's It's the byproduct.
Yeah. And when service is key and you're serving, but then like you don't even give yourself like 5 minutes after you do like some big event to like pat yourself in the back and be like, wow, that was really amazing. That was really enjoyable.
And enjoying it.
And it wasn't.
Process.
It
enjoying
wasn't.
The process, right.
But now that I said, okay, screw this. It's going to be 5 things and I'm going to do those 5 things so amazingly well.
Yes.
We like quadrupled my income in like a couple of months.
Yeah.
And I'm actually happy.
Yes.
So like when I'm doing the stuff, I like, Jill and I did a goddess gathering the other day. And after we did this goddess gathering, I was just like, that was so awesome. Where usually Katie Boyd, old school, would be like, all right, Jill, what's next? Let's go. Let's do the next thing. Let's get it.
And for me,
it's too crazy.
Me from watching outside, I mean, you were supposed to be done like at 1 o'clock. I think I texted you like at 3 o'clock, and then it sounded like you were just still having a really good time.
Yeah.
So
because I was in the flow.
You were in the flow. So it didn't matter if it was 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. you were enjoying it, right? And you're just empowering all these women, and these women are meeting other women, and you and Jill just had it was amazing.
Absolutely.
It was amazing. Good
Absolutely.
job, babe.
And number 5, last but not least, I think this is the biggest thing out of all of them. Time is your most precious currency. Time is your most precious currency. So I've noticed in the last couple of years, because I'm trying to lift all these things off the ground and rebrand myself and do all this stuff, that I was just like going so fast that like I would look at you some days and I would be like, what day is it? And Matt's like, it's Friday. I'm like, what do you mean it's Friday? Like everything just started going so fast.
Yes.
So that also has to do with like the consistency part, because when I started to slow down and say, okay, I'm just doing these 5 things. And every time I reach a milestone or I hit a goal, I'm not just going to go on to the next thing. I'm actually going to slow time down and I'm going to enjoy myself and I'm going to celebrate. And I'm going to realize that we only have this one precious human life.
Yes.
And we only have this one time on this earth in this 3-dimensional body.
Yep.
Why am I wishing my time away?
Right. Waiting for like, I can't wait till this is over. Or
if I just get through this week, or if I just get through this month. And so many people say that.
I was doing a seminar one day and they were talking to me. Somebody said, yeah, if I can just get through this one thing. And I'm like, you're going to get through all the things. And when they're all done, you're going to be dead. Right? So when you're going through something, go through it. Look for the signs and messages. What am I learning from this experience? What am I doing? What am I contributing to this experience?
Yeah.
Who am I surrounding myself? Or who do I need to ask to be able to get this accomplished? It may be setting you up with a whole new bunch of people, but it's actually living consciously. And I love that you put the time on here, because I can I am not as punctual as you are.
We know.
I can waste time.
We know.
And sometimes I like time.
We're aware.
Sometimes I like time just for thinking, because the way I grew up, right, as you know, there was no time for thinking.
No.
It was time for, I got to work for time, because I was in the TikTok, working for hourly rate, opposed to
You're trading your time for money.
Businesses,
right?
That it doesn't matter if I work 4 hours once the system is in place, or I work 10 hours.
Yes.
The system's in place, and that's what and it's hard to make that shift. But now that I'm older than you, I did my last 30th birthday 14 years ago,
exactly.
And now I just really like time to think. The first thing in the morning, I will meditate, and then I'm like, I need some think time. I'll just go away and I'll start writing on my pad, or I'll just go outside and just hang out and just think and listen to something inspiring or whatever the case may be. But that's how I utilize my time, and that time is precious to me, because once I do that, my day is on point. But if I miss those elements, I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't get that chance to kind of set myself up for success. But I can definitely pull from what you're saying on this one. I need to be more time conscious. Right.
So my next journey around the sun, which starts today, my goal for the next year of my life is to really just slow down and do everything with attention and intention, and knowing that if I do that really, truly, the world is my oyster.
Absolutely.
But when we're just scrambling and we're scrapping and we're being the honey badgers that we've been raised to be.
Yes, you're
blocking so much abundance.
So much stuff. And the consistency is key. We're coming up on our 100th podcast.
Yes.
Not many people make 100 podcasts.
No.
Guaranteed.
No.
They get into podcasts, they do it for, I don't see any results from this. I stop, and you right there 3 feet from gold.
Yes.
And you give up. And
acres of diamonds.
And you stop looking elsewhere for where the magic is. Well, guess what? If somebody is successful, a podcaster, why can't you be?
Right.
If somebody's doing it, why can't you be? If you're in the fishing space or a martial arts space or the self-help space, whatever space you're in, there's a market for you.
If you hold on,
consistent and keep going.
Yes.
Because like I was saying to you, they're like, Katie's podcast is like an overnight success. I'm like, are you shitting me? You know how much freaking work she puts into this thing? You know how many different things?
I know.
Well, you know, because you do it all with us.
And Katie actually has more episodes than you, Matt.
Yes.
She was
winning.
She was consistent before you joined.
Thank you.
Yeah, she was good. She helps me with. That's a good point, because she's my consistency partner. right? Because there's some things that she doesn't like to do that I take over. And I was actually, quite frankly, remember I was so nervous first time I did the podcast?
Oh, I remember.
I was like, what time are we on?
The wet spot is still on the chair from that day.
I was up all night.
We got a new chair.
Oh, you did? Thank you. It was messy.
You should have. And I'm glad you did, because I was really concerned. And the night before, I'll never forget, I was like, how can you sleep? Tomorrow's the podcast. She's like, I've been doing this for months. What's the problem?
No shit. But even the first podcast that I did, I wasn't nervous because I've been groomed for this.
Yes.
I've been groomed for
it. You've been grooming me, so thank you very much for your help.
Not very well. Have you seen your chest hair poking through your polo shirt right now?
No, not my fur, but other things. You've been grooming.
Oh my God. Well, I hope that you guys learned a little bit from this old bitch. 39, baby.
Happy
Born in
birthday,
1981.
babe.
Established in 1981.
Happy birthday to you.
Why don't you just take me to a restaurant and freaking get it over with and embarrass me? Thank you guys all for sticking in there and being such crusaders to this Ambitchious movement. And like I always say, see you next Tuesday.
Happy birthday, babe.
Thank you.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.